What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Fire Emblem. Up today is Chapter 5, Beyond the Borders. So now that we've got more characters that we're not going to use, continue our way towards Kalan. On this super zoomed out map with all these words that we can't actually read. I mean, I guess you can kind of make out some of them, like there's Burn, Etruria, and that's about it, really. That might be Ilya up in the north. Oh, that's his Lycia down at the bottom there. Okay. It's kind of hard to imagine the face of a grandfather you've never seen, especially when a bandit is sneaking up behind you with an axe. I guess if you haven't realized it's there yet, it doesn't actually make imagining any harder. I don't know why bandits would care about the border. Yay, good food. It's hard to disagree with that. It's a good point. Oh, hey there. And another particularly attractive member of the bandit troop. I mean, I don't know why we should care about their reputation. I mean, it's their reputation, not ours. This one's kind of odd because the opponents in this mission are so spread out. A frail Lycian priestess, huh? Well, she does. I mean, her personality doesn't really match it, but whatever. This guy is named Urk, so I guess bad names are not exclusive to the enemies. I kind of enjoy the fact that he so openly states his dissatisfaction. I mean, normally you would think around like some noble lady that they wouldn't dare, but whatever. These are an interesting pair of characters, but we'll talk a little bit more about them in a moment. Hello? Eek! That is not at all the person who was just intimidating us. So, Urk is a magician who, as you can obviously tell, is capable of counterattacking against that archer and so has a range of 2. However, the interesting thing about mages is that they actually have a range of 1 to 2. If we look, let's say, yeah. Range 1 to 2. So, their tomes, they can attack enemies who are directly beside them, but also enemies that are 2 squares away. So they kind of have the best of both worlds. the trade-off is that they're typically much more frail than both archers and normal melee units. But they can be very powerful in the long run, in general. So, first thing we're supposed to do is we have to go and talk to Sarah. Pretty much. Well, no, I guess that's true. They thought we were in league with. They were in league with Lyn. It's a good point. Now, the case with Urk is kind of interesting. Yes, I'll get to you in a moment, Sarah. She's just giving me another tutorial here. Now, Urk is, like I said, a mage, and mages can be very good, and Urk is a pretty decent one. But I'm not going to use him. If you're not familiar with this game, I very much suggest that you do, because you don't really get a whole lot of... you get a little bit, but not the best options for magic users for quite a while into the game, and having a magic user around is very helpful. But I'm not going to be using Urk. Now, Sarah is a different kind of magic user. She is a cleric. So she uses a heal staff, which, as you might expect, heals someone. So basically, we are never going to use a vulnerary ever again. And a staff isn't that much different from a vulnerary, except that you use it on someone else and you can't use it on yourself. And they tend to have a lot more uses than vulneraries, so they're a lot more cost-effective. And this, that little... Actually, no, I don't want to go there. I want to stand on the mountain to get the mountain environmental advantage. But for some reason it wouldn't let me go back. But anyways, magic users actually have an interesting little quirk about in how they work, in that they don't actually have strength. If you look at Lyn, she has strength, skill, speed, luck, defense, resistance. But if we were to look at Urk, he has magic instead of strength. In a lot of Fire Emblem games, you have strength and magic, but in this one specifically, they decide that for magic users, magic would just straight up replace strength, which is fine. But the biggest difference is that magic attacks, they compare against an enemy's resistance rather than their defense, which is probably the biggest advantage of magic. So if we were to look at these bandits, they have 3 defense, so all melee physical attacks are going to be reduced by 3 when they hit, but they have 0 resistance, so magic attacks are not reduced by anything. And that's why it's useful to have a magic user around. But I will not be actually using Urk, which is a little strange, I admit, but that's just the way of things. So I'm going to move Florina up here, because there's a bandit, mercenary guy there. Sane is level 5, Lyn is level 6, okay. Sane might as well go up here and deal with this guy a little bit. Now, while I won't be using Urk, I will be using Sarah. For a couple of reasons. For one, you'd be stupid not to use the healer, because healers are very important. But I'm actually going to be... the way I'm going to be using Sarah is almost... I almost want to say abusively, because the fact of the matter is it's actually very hard to level up healers. Not having any way of attacking and therefore killing an enemy, they tend to be very hard to level up, as I basically just said. So, perfect. Attack this guy with a lance, I can finish him off with Florina. And, wow. Sane takes no damage from this guy because his defense is so high. He leveled up even without killing him, anyways. So the key to leveling up a healer is basically just making a point of healing every little wound. Not even wounds. When a character levels up, if they gain HP, then they are by default missing 1 HP. And so a lot of times I'll even use a healer or a cleric, I suppose, to heal even that little deficit. Because it doesn't matter how much you heal, you still get the same amount of experience. I guess I might as well send Lynn this way. Try to take a shortcut over the mountain. So, yeah, I'm basically making every effort to do as much healing as possible with Sarah, because it's hard to level up a healer, but it's also very important that I do so. This guy can hit me there, right? Yeah. Of course... Oh, I forgot to heal Florina there. It's a little ironic. So, it's hard to level up a healer, so you gotta get them experience wherever you can. And I forgot to switch Sane's weapon to a spear, or a sword, but that doesn't really matter all that much. But, not... Basically, I don't really want to say too much, but it's a very good idea to get Sarah up in experience as much as you can, because long term she's going to be extremely useful, but until she gets that experience, she can't really do much. Healing is really handy, but a healer on its own, in the end of the day, isn't going to do as much as you might want. I was kind of hoping I could just kill this guy with Florina, because even though Pegasus Knights are really weak against archers, a lot of times it can be a very effective strategy to just use their mobility to just fly straight up to it and just take it out. But unfortunately, Florina's attack is not high enough yet that she can really do that. So, I didn't actually end up healing Florina yet, did I? Oh, critical hit. Oh, well, I was kind of hoping to kill that guy with Florina, but whatever. So, I guess what I'll do... Well, hold on. Yeah, Lynn's just gonna kill this guy in one shot, so I might as well kill him. I was kind of hoping she wouldn't, and I'd be able to weaken him up and kill him with Florina, but 'twas not to be. Now what I think I'm going to do here is rescue Sarah, and then bring her up. That way I can... It's another useful feature of... Oh wow, I can't buy iron spears here? That's interesting. It's an interesting feature of rescue in that if you have a mounted unit rescue a less mobile one, it's a very good way to get them somewhere quickly. So I bought Florina that javelin because her slim spear is, or slim lance is almost broken. I was kind of hoping it would be an iron spear because javelins are really heavy, but javelins do have their own advantages. I mean, she is quite fast, but still, that's 4 and 7. That's an attack speed penalty of 7, so that's bringing her speed down to 5. It's not so low that she's going to be on the receiving end of a double attack, but she's certainly not going to be dealing anything out with that javelin. Now, before I go and finish this mission, I want to make sure to heal everyone up to get as much experience with Sarah as possible. So, that's what I'm going to do, but I'm also actually going to place Florina next to Lynn while I'm doing this. There's a good reason for that, but I'll get into it a little bit more at a later date. It's not integrally, it's not super important that you do so, but it's a good idea. Does anyone else need healing? No. So, one thing you can actually do here, now that we have a few ranged attacks, you can really abuse the fact that bosses tend to be they tend to be completely immobile. So, I haven't really demonstrated this because I'm not using Will or Urk, but with my Javelins have the ability to attack 2 squares away. So if I wanted to, I could just sit here and throw Javelins at this guy all day, and he will never move a single step. He'll never be able to counterattack me or walk up and attack me at all. So that's really easy to abuse. I'm not going to do that though because it doesn't really make sense to abuse something that does 2 damage. Where'd that other iron sword come from? Well, whatever. How's his proficiencies doing? They're both at D. See, I need to get his lance proficiency up a little bit. But that's the problem, is because now that I have Florina, any enemy that is good to kill with a lance, I want to try and give that kill to Florina if I can. And there's so many bandits that it's easy to get Sane's sword proficiency up. Wow. Between the forest and just Sane's stats, this guy has a 19% chance to hit him. He does have a lot of HP though. But Lyn can most likely take him out now. I haven't really had a reason to use the Manikadi yet. Part of that's just because I've gotten so lucky with strength growth. Usually you want to use the Manikadi because it's stronger than an iron sword, and that extra strength can offset the fact that Lyn's strength growth is so low. But I think I've only leveled up once in where I haven't gotten strength so far. Twice. Okay. That was actually kind of bad level up, but I guess it could be worse. Healing ho! Goodbye. Oh, Sane hitting on another female companion. Or I guess she's not a companion, but another female in general. House Ostia, huh? You wouldn't know what to look at her, huh? She is a very devious little... Yeah. I actually never mentioned, but Syrah, it follows the, I believe it's the Lena archetype, which is basically just the somewhat young female cleric who joins early on. And she often has a Lena's often have a relationship with another character that you get later on. Specifically the Julian character, but we haven't encountered them yet. And Urk follows the Merrick archetype, which is similarly the young magician that you get early on. And the biggest thing that differentiates them is that they're often they're a magician, and they're often the student of another magician who you get later on. So yeah, that's just a little tidbit that might be worth noting. Like I said before, a lot of these archetypes are pretty simplistic, so something like the Cain and Abel one is really defined, but Merrick and Lena's are just kind of... they're more of a reoccurring theme, in my opinion. But I guess that's more or less still what an archetype is, so whatever. Well, not really. I mean, we're just... have we really... I'm pretty sure only one group has actually wanted to kill us because of the inheritance dispute. Everyone else has just been random bandits that we've happened to run into. Well, you're in Syrah's employ, so if she wants to go, you don't really have anything to say about it. Isn't Ostia in the east, though? Just kind of seems like if they're going to Kaelin, that's like the opposite direction. Unless I'm mistaken, which could very well be. Double is the poison strength. Well, that's a little. This kind of lacks the subtlety that's like the entire point of using poison. But anyways, that's about it for today on Let's Play Fire Emblem. Catch you later.